It is late at night. It is still night. Yep. Still in the we're still in the 11 o'clock hour here on the Friday. And we are off the grid. And those two things are true. The rest of the world I cannot vouch for. But here, up in New England, it is late at night and we are off the grid. That being said, let's take a look at our power situation today. Let's take a look at what the day looked like today, actually. We had a really sunny day, which was nice. We made a lot of power. We needed it. We had some rain the previous day. And so it was nice to kind of have the blue skies and the sunshine and a pretty long day of daylight and sunshine. So here you could see, and we had the turkeys walking through the yard, which was really nice. It is always, it's always just calming to see the turkeys walking through. We got a whole family of them. And I mean, it is close to Thanksgiving. And as they said in Coming to America, what was it? No, it was, I think it was Coming to America. You don't want to be no jive turkey this close to Thanksgiving. So that being said, our power situation for the day, and this was a little while ago, we're rolling into tonight with 87% power. We did fully charge up today, our batteries. So you could see we made 31.6 kilowatts today. That's a pretty, we used 31.6 kilowatts today. It's a pretty good amount. So we made more than that, clearly, if we charged our batteries back up. But we did a bunch of cooking today and put some heat on today. It was starting to cool down a little bit. It was in the high 40 Fahrenheit, low 50 degrees. And so let's see. You could see here's where we used it. So this is a nice little breakdown of, you've got the sun, you've got the battery power. Obviously, there's no grid tie here, but here it's telling us we've got 5.1 kilowatts used, and we've got a capacity to use 11 kilowatts total in our system. And so that was at, you can see Friday, October 10th, 5:25 p.m., and we were making some delicious food. And that's going to be food for thought today. But I have a little banner for this. How much energy did we use today? So we used a lot. We used like 37, but that's to be expected coming into this season, and baking food and cooking food and running the heat. I mean, it's the high energy appliances that'll do it. So here you could see what the Powerwall discharged. So the Powerwall discharged 16 kilowatts. It charged up 23.6. So that's pretty good. And clearly we made more power than we used today. And that's kind of always the goal. So we generated, there it was, we caught it, 39.2. So if we break that back to the beginning, where we used 31.6, generated 39.2, and that's good. That's a good day in the fall for us. And you can see sort of how that breaks down in terms of what we generated, what went into the Powerwall, what went to the house. It's just nice to be able to track it. This is all off the Tesla app. The Tesla app is good, the home app. It is not great, but it is very good. There's a lot of improvements I think that it could incorporate, and we can get into that in another time. And so this is sort of back to that home page where it said, what time was this? This was at 7:12. 7:12, and we had 87% battery. So we already at that point had an hour and change of the sun setting, and so we were already generating no power for an hour and a half, and then very limited power really for that 2.5 hours, because at the end of the day you do generate some power, but it's not a lot, and depends on what you're doing and depends on what you're making, how you're living. You can go through a lot of power really quickly, or you can conserve power. Definitely ways to do both. So that was how much energy we used today. Then let's switch to this is what made me happy. Let's see here. How can I share the stage with what made me happy? So let's go to this guy. I think we got to remove this one and add this one. There we go. Look at us making technology work. Attack squirrels beware. This made me happy. I read this article about a week ago, a few days ago, whenever it was, and I just thought it was worth sharing. Attack squirrel beware. I think this was serious. I want to go out. I want to just believe. This is like I want to believe in Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus. I want to believe that this attack squirrel sign is serious. This is not a joke. It starts off. More than 5 people have been attacked by a very mean squirrel over the past few days on Diablo Circle and Mount Urson, I think it says. Several have gone to ER for severe lacerations. That squirrel, you think that's the actual, who got that picture? Who got this picture? That's phenomenal. That squirrel should be flattered. Not flattened, flattered. Several have gone to the ER for severe lacerations. The squirrel comes out of nowhere and will attack legs / arms / and faces and leave bite marks and scratches. This can't be actual pictures. Looks like the same squirrel, though. I'm not going to lie. This does look like the same crate. Nah, so it's different. These are different squirrel. I'm going to say these are different. We are working with Marin Wildlife now to get the perpetrator, but do not walk your dogs or play tennis in the area or beware at your own caution. Do not walk your dogs or play tennis in the area. We have 2 dogs. We have one. They're both rescues. We have one dog that's, a little terrier, 20-pound terrier, and we've got like a 75-pound staffy. Just, kind of a pit bull. He's a big goofball. So if we were walking our dogs, and you would think that the 75-pound Staffordshire Terrier would be able to, impose a little dominance over something. No chance. There is no chance Huckleberry would run for dear life. Posey, however, the little terrier, I think she would give this thing. She'd give this thing a run for its money. That's for sure. Let's see what the article says here. Where is this from? This is Squirrels, Marin County. Where is Marin County? QKED. This is from QKED. I have no idea. Not good with my random counties. California. Ooh, and this photo provided by Joan Hellback. A flyer warning of an aggressive squirrel is taped up in San Rafael, California on Wednesday, September 4th. 24th. So this was a photo courtesy of Joan Hellback. Thanks, Joan. That they may be cute, but don't pet or feed your local squirrels. Residents in the North Bay learn this the hard way. You never want to learn, don't feed or pet your squirrels the hard way. Those sentences feel like they shouldn't go together. Attacks in our neighborhood sent at least 3 people to the emergency room. These squirrels, they might be Antifa. Oh, let's read on. Let's read on to see if there's... She kept on coming towards us. And it's a she. I'm assuming that they first laid their eyes on a friendly-looking squirrel. She kept on coming towards us, and we thought that was kind of interesting because they usually run away, Ayub recalled. The squirrel jumped up on the ledge of the couple's wooden fence, close enough for Mary to snap a photo. Then things got dicey. The squirrel began gnawing at the fence, chipping away big chunks of wood. The squirrel is related to Jaws. Joe yelled for it to scram and swatted at it with his baseball cap, his wife said. They were clearly prepared for this encounter. She jumped on his head. Again, this is a she. I'm assuming they figured out this was a she, or maybe they're just assuming here. She jumped on his head, scratched his ear, and then landed on his leg. He pushed her off, and she finally scurried away. The couple went to the emergency room to make sure the scratches weren't dangerous. Squirrels don't carry rabies, she was told, and Joe was sent home with a clean bill of health. Well, that's good. Phew. The next day, the same squirrel, they said, returned to the scene of the crime to chomp at a mop lying in the Ayub's backyard. Did they lay a trap? Was it a trap mop? and it seems to terrorize other neighbors in the Lucas Valley neighborhood north of San Rafael. A flyer posted around the neighborhood. This was an actual picture. This squirrel does look nuts. This squirrel looks nuts. I would walk on the other side of the road if I saw that squirrel walking on the sidewalk. Turned to the scene of the crime to chomp at a mop lying in the Ayub's backyard, and it seems it was there not just to chomp at the mop, but to terrorize other neighbors in the Lucas Valley neighborhood. A flyer posted around the neighborhood notified residents of a quote-unquote very mean squirrel. Very mean. It was tossing around insults. It was giving the finger. I mean, this thing was out of control. This is not a joke. 5 people have been attacked and like dozens insulted. Joan Heblack was out for her usual morning walk last Sunday when she felt something heavy glom onto her leg. Whenever you feel something glom onto your leg, I feel like it's either going to be some kind of a ghost thing, or like things that glom onto your leg, like I don't know, like that just doesn't sound good. I didn't see it come from anywhere. Could have been a ghost thing, but it wasn't by any trees or bushes. I was walking in the middle of the street. She was walking in the middle of the street. Safest place to be from squirrels. Middle of the street. I was trying to bat it off, but it wouldn't get off. Just clung more. She jogged home. So clearly she had her faculties still about her, and she had all of her physical and cognitive skills intact. So she jogged home, told her husband, and went to the emergency room to get the bleeding scratches on her leg examined. Prescribed an antibiotic. An antipsychotic or an antibiotic? Oh, biotic, for sure. Let's just double check. Yep, antibiotic. That one could have gone either way. Let's see. Heard about that incident. Yada 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 yada. Hellback was fine. Heblack was fine. It's not Hellblack. Heblack. Animal experts in Marin County say a squirrel gone wild isn't actually as unusual as people might think. Squirrels are actually all absolutely crazy. One might say, I could read this all. Let's see, we've seen this happen before, yada, yada, yada. Squirrel likely got used to being fed and cared for and ended up confused. As he got older, got more squirrely, the animal either escaped. The squirrel doesn't immediately understand why others aren't feeding it and will likely take matters into its own hands. That's fantastic. I got to read that again. She said the squirrel doesn't immediately understand why others aren't feeding it and will likely take matters into its own hands. This squirrel could be running our country. I'll have to double check. Does this squirrel look familiar? Does that squirrel look familiar? Does that squirrel look like anybody? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. Squirrel looks like it's in really good shape, though. I will say that. So probably not. All right. Where was the end of this article? The squirrel will jump on the person, clawing at them, biting them, desperate for food that they are expecting a human to provide. It's actually a really sad situation. Did anybody say that was a really happy situation? Was there celebration over this? Jubilation? And she said it's a clear lesson of why you shouldn't feed wildlife. That's what it's a clear lesson. Do you know what I think it's, you know what I think the saddest thing here was, the missed opportunity here was to talk about the fact that these squirrels are nuts. If this is commonplace, if attack squirrels are commonplace in California, boy, oh boy, I don't know what's going on in this world. But that made me happy. For whatever it's worth, that did make me happy. And then let's see, food for thought today. We got good food for thought today. Here's our food for thought today. This delicious apple crisp. My wife made this delicious apple crisp. And that's really the intention of this, is food for thought. Apple crisp is amazing. I could eat this for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, pretty much like weeks on end. I feel like I could survive an apocalypse off of. Oh, but the moral of the story is that we use power. This was all solar power, so this was all off grid. It's our off grid apple crisp. So that's our. Just in case anybody was wondering if what kind of oven we had. It's I feel like it's a pretty significant size oven, and it runs really well and runs totally off grid, and we're super happy with it. So that's exciting. Not nearly as exciting as this apple crisp in the moment. I mean, instant gratification. This made me happy. That was delicious. So that was our food for thought, and that's about it. So hope everybody had as delicious of an evening as we had. Hope everybody has enough power for your day inside and out. These are my random thoughts for the day. We'll see you, next point late at night, 10 o'clock or later. And just be good to yourself. Be good to each other. We got this.